You're listening to the smartest guys in marketing, the best show on the planet for client businesses to learn about traffic, funnels, sales, conversions, and marketing coolness. Chris and Taylor are the founders of Traffic and Funnels, a digital marketing consultancy helping you get paid clients from cold traffic daily. Now, here are your hosts, Chris and Taylor.
What is up? It is Chris here, live from Charlotte. I just want to jump in here real quick. Just talk to you guys, maybe give you a little motivation, maybe a little fuel for the fire. We are having record months, and I'm finding myself working more, pushing harder than I ever have in the history of our business because I see the potential that we have. It's so much greater than what we're actually realizing right now. The impacts to make on way more people's lives, so much greater. The amount of revenue that we can generate, so much greater. The bar has been raised, the level is higher, so it's time for us to get our asses to work. No excuses. Nobody can stop you. The only thing that's going to stop you is you. That's it. It's not going to be Facebook shutting your account down. It's not going to be clients telling you no. It's not going to be people making fun of you in your ads. That's not it. It's only going to be you and you deciding that, you know what, maybe this is too hard. Oh, maybe I've got to work. Maybe I've got to send out some messages. Oh, maybe I've got to possibly look like a fool or look like a moron. Who gives an F? Listen, you have to keep your goals right in front of you every day. I've never been more obsessed about our goals, about the direction that we're going in than I am right now. I'm just like a rabid dog about it because I know the potential. I see the potential. I see the potential that you guys have to make an awesome impact on people's lives, to make the money that you want to make, to, for me, taking care of my family is a big motivator. So if you guys have families, taking care of your families. So what is up? Let's go. Hit me with some questions if you got them. Phil says, any opinion on ads to Messenger versus landing page for home service companies? Yeah, so Phil, it's going to come down really to typically the easiest thing that's going to work the best is the thing that has really the less barriers, the least amount of barriers that you can have. So the easier the flow that you can have for a prospect from an ad, especially a cold ad, someone who's never heard of the company before. You want to make it as easy as possible, right? Now, if you get overwhelmed and you just have a ton of volume, at that point, you start working backwards and you want to start putting barriers so that you filter, which is part of our process, right? If you're a one-man band or a two-man band and you can't take a lot of volume, then you've got to start putting filters in place to protect your time. What advice would you give to 2018 TNF team? I assume you mean 2019? 2019? Dude, the advice I would give is keep your emotions in check. And the way that you're going to do that is having your goals in front of you every single day. The second part of that is having the plan to get to your goals, right? So what is going to lead to the amount of revenue that you want a month? So let's say it's 20 grand, right? How many strategy sessions do you need a month to hit $20,000? If you are obsessed with that one thing and nothing else happens until you are meeting that objective every single day, you are going to hit your goal. You're going to hit the 20 grand. You're going to hit the 50 grand. You're going to hit the 100 grand, whatever the frick it is. And you're just a steamroller. Like nothing stops you from that goal. Like I'm so obsessed about it now that we have graphics that are made to go on our iPhones, to go on our desktops. So every single day we see our goals. That is the mission. That is the mission. Nothing is going to stop that mission. Now, here's the problem. People, they lose clarity so quickly. They are misdirected. They're thrown off course so quickly because they don't have that in front of them. So, for example, if you go out and you start posting on Facebook, you start sending messages, and maybe it's just kind of a bummer of a day. Like it's just that things aren't flowing well, right? Then what happens? Your emotions get involved. And you're like, oh my God, the world must hate me. Oh my God, this must not work. Oh my God, like this is just a scam, right? That's not the case. That's just you lying to yourself. That's your own emotions. So if you keep your goals in front of you, keep your plan in front of you every single day, it's going to keep you. When you start to veer off course, it's going to bring you back. And that's the thing. That's so many people, they just go off course and they never get back on, right? We expect, like this week has been hell of a week already. I mean, we are pushing things hard. We're pushing for new records. Things are coming up. I'm having issues. The co-owner of the company, I'm in like ClickFunnels building sales pages. Why? Because that's part of the goal. And that's just where we are. So nothing's going to stop us. We're going to hit that goal. So keep that in front of you. That's what I'd say. What do you think realtors want the most? I'm a DFY marketing agency. There's going to be two answers to that. One is going to be surface. And then the second thing is going to be a deep level want, right? So the surface is going to be, they want to sell more homes, so they want more money, right? Or they want more listings because they want more money. But at the end of the day, that's not really what they want, right? They want security, or they want people to approve of them, or they want status. That's the thing they truly want. And that's, I say this over and over. You hear me say this over and over if you've listened to any of our stuff, especially when I talk about marketing. You have to be obsessed with your market, their desires, and their wants, right? And if you can dial into that, that comes with you talking to the market, emailing them, messaging them, just digging into where they're at, then you're going to get those languaging patterns. Adam says, what's up, Adam Judish? What challenges should I prepare for as my kids grow older and build out a team? 4 kids, young kids. My tendency in the past has been to get really lost in work. When I know what's going on and I have clarity, I can work an insane amount of hours. So for me, my wife has really helped this. And I would even say that Lindsay at sometimes has helped probably Taylor and I both, just their feedback and helping to balance us. And whether it's been, I've got to come home and shut things off at 6, from 6 to 9, or I need to be able to chill on the weekends, just like whether I had to leave my phone in my car, or actually what I've been doing recently is now at night, I keep my phone downstairs. I don't even have it on my nightstand, right? Like you have to have a disconnect. You have to have a break from the connection, right? Whether it's on social media or emails or whatever it might be. Because if you as a parent, or even I'd say as a spouse, if you are not taking care of yourself, it's going to negatively affect everybody else. So for years, I would just carry so much weight. I didn't know how to regulate stuff that we've been talking about recently. Props to Taylor for really digging this out. I didn't know, I wasn't self-aware. And so that caused a lot of issues. I have a high pain tolerance myself, so I can take on a lot. But there was a negative domino effect for my family. So be self-aware, disconnect, have clarity about what you're doing, and make sure that you are cognizant about investing time and attention into your kids and your spouse. If you are not giving them attention, like they know, they're not stupid. And so when you're just there and you're on your phone and they're talking to you, they desire your attention, right? Put your freaking phone away and pay attention to them. So that's a practice. Like if it is during the day and I happen to be home, if one of my kids comes up and they talk to me and I'm on my phone, I'll just set my phone down and look them in the eyes. So that's a good practice. I think that'll help you. Mason says, Chris, why do gurus keep trying to tell me email marketing is dead? I don't know, because they want to sell you something else, right? But no, like email marketing is less effective than it was back in the day for all kinds of reasons, but it's definitely not dead. It's all about being good at getting their attention, essentially. Here, I want to hit on this. You guys cool if I want to talk about something real quick that I think will help you in your marketing. I'm writing a new sales letter, and listen, if you ever get into a point in this process where you can never take criticism, constructive criticism from someone, you are missing the boat. There's no point where your ego should be too big to take criticism from someone. So make sure that you always welcome that, even if it's from someone who you think might be below you, right? There's always an opportunity to learn. So we're working on memo stuff. I'm working on a new sales letter. I get on the phone with a copywriter last week. This dude's a legendary guy. He used to work for David Ogilvy, like legendary. And he just ripped my copy to shreds. And one thing he said, which I know this internally, but you get lost in your own work and sometimes you're just your own worst client. And he said, dude, this is boring. And so he said, where is the drama? And, it kind of is a great refresher to where the whole goal of what we're trying to do initially is to get people's attention. That's it. Today, we are fighting 5,000 other people or messages or ads that are vying for our people's attention, right? So when you're sheepish about your marketing and you're scared, like, oh, I don't know if people will like this, or who gives an F? Like, you have to be bold. You have to be outrageous because you are competing with 5,000 other messages in a day. So a way to do that is to be dramatic. So case in point, new sales letter that we're working on, I basically wrote, like, the drama of it is telling the story of my business partner going behind my back to give away details and secrets about our business, right? That's pretty interesting. Like, people, they want to know about that. So you have to be dramatic in your marketing. And we talk about it. You have to kick the B box. You have to bang the pots and pans. Like, don't leave anything just undone. Go, like, abandon it all for the opportunity to connect with your market. Be dramatic, right? When you're freaking have to compete against, like, what's that show that is so popular right now? It's like Taylor's favorite show. But you're competing against, like, The Bachelor, right? And Bachelorette. They have, like, millions of people that watch those shows because of the drama, because of the story. So if you're not using drama, if you're not using story in your marketing, you are definitely missing it. Nothing off limits. Tips for making a great lead magnet. Oh, I love talking about this stuff. I love it. All right, so this is a principle that you guys should know. We spend a lot of money in paid advertising, 6 figures a month, and I'd say we're pretty successful with that. So just a quick, easy. One thing, when you're dealing with the cold market, people are typically, as human beings, that our natural instinct or the thing that we're typically going to go for initially is the easiest thing. What's the thing that's going to be the magic bullet, right? So typically something that you can put out that's a magic bullet, it's a system, something that's easy to implement. That's usually always going to work well as a lead magnet in any market. One thing that we did with Sales Mentor is we gave away some sales call reviews, right? Because that's like insider information. And they're obviously, they can pick up some magic bullets, some tricks, some tactics. Typically something like that is always going to be your highest conversion, lowest lead costs. Joe, how do you protect yourself from the mindset of not being good enough early on in your business? Well, all right. So this is some deep things here, some deep issues, some deep rooted issues that you have, my friend. There's some worth things that I'm sure go back many, many years, things that might have happened to you or things that have been said to you. I think you have to confront it face on, head on. I look that thing right in the eyes and address it, right? Recognize what it is. And I want you to get this book that I talked about earlier, What to Say When You're Talking to Yourself. I think it'll help you because there's languaging patterns that you use right now that keep you in this negative loop, right? So that's the first thing. What are you saying to yourself? Do you say that, oh, nobody likes me? Oh, I'm a loser. Nobody. Like, you might not be saying it out loud, but I guarantee you're saying it internally, right? So you got to start saying new things to yourself. How much of a badass you are. Start saying it until you believe it. And what's going to happen is subconsciously, it's going to trigger you to take the right actions to actually start experiencing it. So get that book, Psycho Cybernetics, if you haven't. And honestly, dude, I'd write out a script that you would say to yourself as if you were Joe who's killed it and people want what you have. Like there's so much desire for you in your business that you have to turn people away. Like that's what you have to envision. That's what you have to picture. And that's what you have to practice in your mind. And then what you'll see is it'll take over and it'll start to become reality. So get those books. When your avatar is comfortable with their pain, tips on punching them in the face with the truth. That's a good question. There's going to be things that they're not comfortable with, right? So the pain that you think you should talk to is not the right pain, because really, if it's something they're comfortable with, right, there's no motivation there. I want you guys to get this book, okay? It's called The Robert Collier Letter Book. And so one of my favorite all-time books. Frank Kern hates it because it's like super old school. It's kind of a little bit difficult to read, but he's kind of one of the OGs about understanding the motivators of people and what appeals to people. The Robert Collier Letter Book. Actually, it's interesting because back in the day, if you don't know this, like it's rare that you're going to get a marketing history lesson, or that you won't from me when we're on a live stream, but I love this stuff so much. But this book was not available for many, many years. Matter of fact, the late, great Gary Halbert went to Library of Congress because he heard about this book and made copies of this book because he thought it was that valuable. Now you can get on Amazon for like $15. But anyways, he talks about motivators and how to appeal to people. And so if you're saying that, that means my guess is that you're talking to a surface pain, like a scratch. That's not like that thing that is like growing gangrene or whatever, that big gaping wounds. Like you're on the other side of the body dealing with something that's not really a motivator for them and a lever for you, right? So you probably are not doing a good enough job at digging into like the deep below the surface issues. That would be just my assumption based on that question. And I'm completely open to you saying, no, I know exactly what the problem is, and tell me that. So let me know what you think about that. Rebecca, how can you start to tell if your copy message is getting traction? If people are responding, that's how you can tell. Whether it's love or hates, if you're offending people or you're getting fans, it's probably working. That's a good initial indicator. Now, from a metric standpoint, if you're running ads or something, like it literally just comes down to clicks. Like, are people clicking on your stuff? If you're sending them to a landing page or asking for a message, right? That's the initial indicator. So that's the thing that we look at typically. If I get like 2,000 impressions, how many of those people that have been displayed my ad actually clicking?
What's the biggest big business breakthrough or epiphany you've had in 2019? Don't stop. I'd say, it's probably a big thing. Clarity on goals is just massive. And that being the focus, massive, massive, massive. And then just like, Taylor sent me this screenshot earlier from Grant Cardone from the 10X conference about how many messages, emails, phone calls they've made. And it's like an insane amount. And again, you have to understand, like, you are competing with so many other messages that are faced with your market. And a lot of times it's not that your market hates you, right? It's just that they're distracted by something else that's done a better job at getting their attention than you have. So you might just have to step up your aggressiveness in marketing. Now, a little caveat on that. Also, on the other side of that, just be careful not to seem desperate to the right prospects, right? So it might depend on what stage that person is in versus how aggressive you are. So,
all right, no more questions. So to sum it up, unless you guys have any other questions, put your goals in front of you every single day. Establish what that plan is and freaking work the plan day in and day out until you start having some breakthrough. And here's a crazy thing that's going to happen, because a lot of you come in and you're still unsure. I want to cement your confidence right now. And if it's not, it should be, because of like, we've just had like so many people come through this process and win and knock it out of the park. We're doing what, we are teaching you guys. We are doing that in our business. We're doing hyper organic. We are doing 2 steps, and we're close to cracking $1 million in a month. The same stuff that we are teaching you guys, we are doing, right? So it's not the market. It's not, oh, my avatar, they hate me. It's not Facebook platform. It is you not pushing, not fighting for clarity every day, right? That's all on you. So you got to own it, go after it, keep those goals in front of you, keep the plan in front of you. The other thoughts are, be dramatic, be outrageous in your marketing, and be okay for people not to approve of what you're doing. Because guess what? I have family members who don't approve of what I'm doing. You think I care? I don't. Because if we weren't crazy in our marketing, if we didn't do silly stuff and all the things that we do, guess what? None of you would be here. All the lives that we've impacted wouldn't have happened. So I don't give a crap what anybody else thinks, right? So be dramatic, be outrageous, have a good time. Like, don't stress. It's a process. Fall in love with the process. Fall in love, I dare say, with the pain. Get familiar with it. And the more you get familiar with the pain, the more you get familiar with the process, the more your confidence builds, the more momentum you'll get, and you'll just start hitting level after level after level. Level after level after level.